Hey, it's Doc, and this is me 38 years ago, cleaning the GT40 and fantasizing about racing like Bob Bondurant or Dan Gurney. Well, until reality sets in. Today, I'm going to share a story about a scruffy car that came to live with my family for many, many years and became the centerpiece of my father's car collection. This is GT40 chassis number 1059. The images that you see here are of it in its original opalescent maroon color at the factory in 1966 in the United Kingdom. It was one of 6 road cars allocated to Shelby America for a promotional program. It was likely under Shelby's ownership that it was painted in the livery of white with a blue stripe that I know so well. After that program was finished, the car was sold and then kind of faded out of existence. And this is where my dad will pick up, and he's going to tell you all about that in the next segment.
A car that seems to be everybody else's favorite, and the most eye-catching car of the collection, I suppose, has to be the GT40 Ford. And this was a car that I rescued from the basement of Ford Engineering back in 1972. I had attended a Ferrari meet at Dearborn, Michigan, and we were in the process of getting the Ferrari ready to show. And some Ford engineers came over and asked if they could take photographs of the cooling system on my Ferrari because they said they were having problems with an Italian car that they brought over called the Pantera that De Tomaso in Modena, Italy had built for Ford. And they indeed did have a lot of problems with the car. The development was not very good at all. And I told them, well, I didn't care what they did. They could take the cooling fans off and stuff and take them back to Ford Engineering and take them apart if they wanted to, just so they had them back the next day so that I could start the car up and drive it onto the concourse field. And I guess as a reward for that, they took me to the innards of Ford Engineering. I remember they gave me a ride in a pickup truck that I'll never forget, and I found out it had a 460 cubic inch Lincoln engine in it with twin turbochargers, and that was back when turbocharging wasn't in the vogue that it is now. But I saw all kinds of weird and wonderful exotic things that they were working on. The crash tests were being done there. They were taking their cars and some of the competition and crashing them into walls on cables with complete television, slow motion coverage with anthropometric dummies and this sort of thing. And I said, "What's over in the corner?" And they said, "Oh, that's Lee Iacocca's old GT40 Ford." And I said, "Could I take a look at it?" And I said, "Yeah." They take a look at it, and they pulled the cover off. And a group of Ford dealers had gone together and purchased the GT40 from Ford of England in late 1965 and used it in an advertising campaign. It was taken around from dealership to dealership to advertise Ford's beating Ferrari at Le Mans in 1966 and 1967. And came back, they said they stripped the interior out and redid the interior for Lee Iacocca. He wanted to drive it, and he drove it on the street for about 3 months, and finally the Detroit police asked him not to do that anymore. And so the car went down into the basement, and there it languished until I saw it. It took me about 18 months to find out who owned the car. I mean, who at Ford Motor Company could pick up a pen and sign the title over to me. And I finally traced it down through a series of telephone calls, made them a ridiculously low bid, and they said, "Fine, come get it." We went and started got a fresh battery, filled the tank with fuel, changed the oil, started it up, and drove it back to Iowa. that it was going to be something fun to do, and then I got a couple more because it gave my 6 boys when they were growing up something to do. And it's just so happened that I picked up some cars at very reasonable prices that have turned out to appreciate fantastically over the years. And so this is my retirement fund. It never started out that way, but it's become that.